I have zero intention of paying this debt. My former roommate Jake moved in with me last year because he was broke and needed a place to stay cheap. I felt bad for the guy, so I said he could stay in my spare bedroom for like half what rent normally costs in our area. The deal was simple. Pay me $400 a month and help keep the place clean. That's it. No splitting utilities, no extra fees, just $400. First month, Jake paid on time. Second month, he was like 3 days late, but whatever. By month 3, he's asking if he can pay me next week because he's a little short. I said fine, but this can't become a habit. Month 4, he doesn't pay at all, just avoids me. I'd come home from work and he'd literally hide in his room until I went to bed. When I finally cornered him in the kitchen, he goes, "I'm going through a tough time right now. Can you just give me a break?" I looked around the apartment. There were pizza boxes everywhere, dirty dishes piled in the sink. His expensive gaming setup was running in his room with the door open. Dude had just bought a new PlayStation 5. I told him he needed to pay rent or move out. He got all offended and started yelling about how I was being heartless and didn't understand what he was dealing with. What he was dealing with was spending all his money on takeout and video games instead of paying his bills. I gave him 2 weeks to pay or leave. He moved out after 1 week, didn't clean his room, and left his key on the counter with no note. I figured that was the end of it. I was so wrong. About a month later, my phone starts ringing. I answer and this woman goes, "Hi, I'm calling from First National Bank looking for Jake Miller." I said wrong number and hung up. The next day, another call. This time it's some credit card company asking for Jake. I told them I don't know anyone by that name and they need to stop calling me. They apologized and hung up. But then it kept happening. Every single day I was getting calls from different banks, lenders, credit card companies, all asking for Jake. Sometimes I'd get 3 calls in one day. I realized what this idiot had done. He gave them my phone number as his contact info, like as revenge for making him pay rent. I tried blocking the numbers, but they'd just call from different ones. I tried explaining to them that Jake doesn't live here and I don't know where he is. But they'd always push back with, "Well, do you have another number for him? When's the last time you saw him? Can you pass along a message?" One day I'm at work in the middle of a meeting and my phone won't stop buzzing. I step out and it's another creditor. This guy is super pushy going, "Sir, we really need to reach Jake about his overdue account. It's very important." That's when I just snapped. I said really clearly, "I have zero intention of paying this debt." The guy goes silent for a second and then starts stuttering, "Wait, so you're refusing to pay?" I just said, "Yes, I have zero intention of paying this debt. You may have to sue to get that money." And then I hung up. I realized this was actually the perfect response because it's completely true. I have zero intention of paying Jake's debt because it's not my debt. But the way I say it makes it sound like I'm Jake refusing to pay. So now every time they call, I just answer with, "I have zero intention of paying this debt." Sometimes I'll add, "You're going to have to sue me." The creditors always sound so frustrated and defeated when I say it. A few of them have actually said, "Okay, sir, we'll be moving forward with legal action." Good, go for it. Track down Jake and sue him. Not my problem. My friend told me I should just ignore the calls, but honestly, this is way more satisfying. I'm basically confirming to every single one of Jake's creditors that he's a deadbeat who refuses to pay his bills. Last week I got a call from some collection agency and the woman goes, "We're calling about your outstanding balance of $3,400. I said my usual line, "I have zero intention of paying this debt." She got really angry and said, "You do realize we can garnish your wages?" I just laughed and said, "Good luck with that," and hung up. Jake owes money to at least 7 different places based on how many calls I've gotten. Credit cards, personal loans, that PlayStation 5 was probably financed. The guy is drowning in debt and apparently thought giving creditors my number would somehow hurt me. All it did was confirm that he's exactly the kind of person I thought he was. Someone who doesn't pay his bills and runs away from his problems. Every time my phone rings now and it's another creditor, I smile. Because I know Jake is out there somewhere getting destroyed by his credit score while I'm just living my life.